Hello and welcome back to another Final Table commentary. If at any point in time you find yourself not caring for the commentary, there'll be a link in the description down below to the video and KalipokerTV poker replays, so you can go check out the action in some silence. With that being said, today we got another one. A 5:30 entry, a Bounty Builder Series event. We got Granter on the final table starting things off with the Ace and the Queen. We got Red Aaron, Pasili, Romeo Pro, the Patty Chuck, 00000, RC Daria, I don't know, Narnich, Jesh, interesting name choice there, Jesh. Anyways, we got a Queen 7-5 flop, top pair for both Zeros and Granter, bottom pair for RC. They don't really care about that 5, but they do find the call. They've got so many chips, about 100 blinds. They find the call for about 2. Zero's looking for a heart or some 10s. We see a raise from Granter on the flop, and that gets top pair to fold. That's cool to see. And RC follows suit and lets go of that bottom pair 5s. King and a Jack for Red Aaron. 5-5 for Jesh, who's going to limp it on in under the gun. We got an Ace and a 5 for Narnach in the big blind. Romeo Pro with a 3 and a 6 of the same suit could always put no raise here. 82 blinds for Romeo. They're a very aggressive player. What size would we make it? About 4? Maybe 3.7 or something like this? Maybe we just go large and make it 4.5. Romeo Pro's thinking all this shit through. They'll come to a conclusion. I don't know if we're going to fold. Used about 3/4, almost 50% of our time bank now here, just with the 3-6 suited pre-flop. Romeo's going to do something, but he's not going to have a lot of time to think about anything for the remainder of the tournament. So he's still thinking this one through. Oh no, 10 seconds left, and Romeo's going to finds the raise with about 5 seconds left on the time bank to 5.5 blinds. Very interesting shit here. Jesh in a weird spot. Quickly calls. We get a Queen 8-7 flop. Jesh rips it all in with 86%. They can't know that. Romeo Pro with the 6 and the 3 will let this one go, but what an interesting start to the final table here. We got about $6,000 for the victor plus bounties on top of that. About $1,000 for the first person to leave. What do we got going on here? An Ace and a Jack for Granter. We'll start things off with a raise under the gun. We got a couple, got a King Jack for Zeros. 10-7-0 for Romeo is going to think about something here, but find the fold. Other than that, King Jack looks like a bunch of bullshit, and the King Jack hits them up quickly. Jesh with the 4 and a 3. What an interesting hand with the limp with the 5s. Face a big raise pre-flop. See a board where Ace King misses, you rip it all in, take it down. And 4-3, seeing the flop here, 10-8, 10-9-8. Goes check, bet, fold, and we're moving along. Granter will take it with the straight draw. Patty Chuck with a King and a Queen. Ace 10 for Zeros. Queen 7 for Romeo, we'll let that go. Romeo in second place position. RC with that big stack, 77 blinds. We do see Romeo coming for the open with the Queen 7-0. Ace 10 suited for Zeros. Ace 9 for Narnach. That will hit the muck. I think Ace 10's a play in some which way. Zeros finds the call. 3-3 for Jesh will rip it all in. $500 bounty in the line, and Zeros lets go with the suited ace. Pasili with an ace under the gun will find the fold off 15 blinds most likely. King Jack for Granter waits in the big or small blind. 10-10 for Red Aaron. What else we got going on here? RC with a big stack and a King and a Jack. We see Romeo open up 10-5-0 from under the gun +1. Quite the disrespectful raise. RC finds the 3-bet, and then what do we do with 10-10? Oh lordy. And what do we do with 10-10? We expect our jam to get called by RC, and then there's Romeo still in the pot. Tens are all in. Romeo will get out of the way. RC will likely call for the bounty. About $900 on the line, a king or a jack. Now we get a queen on the river. Red Aaron gets the full double, and then a few extra pennies on top of that. And Romeo snap opens up king 8-0, Jesh with a 9 and a 9. We'll rip it all in for 30 blinds. Basili with a king and a queen in the big blind. We'll find the fold. Romeo as well. Let's go with their bullshit. Ace 4 for Patty Chuck will raise under the gun. Red Aaron with an ace and a 9 on the button will swiftly fold. 6-3 for Romeo in the bag. Is suited and booted. We are going to see 3 cards. I don't think Romeo 3 bets. No, we just call. Ace 10-3 goes check. Bet, small bet, 1.4 blinds. Romeo's got that bottom pair, backdoor flush draw. No backdoor straight draw. We're going to go for a check raise. 3.5 blinds is the size. Very interesting happening. Patty Chuck quickly calls. 7 of hearts on the turn. Completes the rainbow. I think Romeo will slow down, but what do I know? What size would they make it? Maybe like 8 blinds? A little bit less? 4 blinds is the size. Still sizes up the river jam. Patty finds the call. 7 of clubs on the river. Now if Romeo yokes it all in, that'd be kind of cool to see. I don't know what Patty would do. No, Romeo just checks. I think Patty checks it back and wins the pot all the time. Ace 4, we don't play our kicker. Aces and 7s with a 10 kicker. Do we try to bluff to get him off a pot? I guess it's not a bluff. Off a chop pot? Do we jam all in to try to get him off a chop pot? Try to get other ace-x to fold? Patty Chuck says we'll just rip it in. Try to get called by a 10 maybe. Not that you'd expect too much 10x to be doing that on the flop. And then a small bet on the turn. But any which way, we'll fast forward through the break. Ace 5 for Jess. Red Aaron with an ace and a queen. Jess will open it on up. Ace queen for Red Aaron. Could stick in a 3-bet here. A small one probably. Don't think we make it big. 6.5 blinds is the size. Patty Chuck in the big with a 10 and a 7. We'll let that go. Ace 5 could always 4-bet. Something small. Jesh will just let her go. What's going on here? Jack for Jesh. They'll come in for the big raise. 3 blinds is the size. 6-3 for Basili. We'll think about it and find the fold, of course. 4-6 for a couple of for zeros in the big blind. Wait, did I say RCs in first place? What a horrific start to this. We got zeros there with this big stack. When did they win all those chips? Where was I? Ace 4 for Basili. They're suited and booted. They only got 13 blinds though. They'll still rip them all in and take the pot down unless RC goes bounty hunting. About a $400 bounty on the line. Suited and booted 7-6. 45% we see. Nah, just folds. Ace and a 5 for Patty Chuck. Romeo with an 8 and a 7 will probably open it on up. A playable holding. Romeo in 3rd place. Just barely above Red Aaron. Still comes in for the min raise. Ace 5 for Narnach. Patty Chuck also folded Ace 5, which is interesting to note. Narnach will just fold and preserve all their pennies. King Queen for zeros. Suited and booted. Jesh with an ace and a queen in the big. Romeo with an ace and a 2 will open it on up. If I'm zeros, I find the call. We're in first place. We could always stick in a 3-bet. They play call, and I was thinking Jess could always fold the ace queen if there's some sort of weird 3-bet by zeros. Instead, zeros plays call. Jess will rip it all in, facing the raise and call, and take it down pretty. Ace and a jack for zeros. Jack, jack for Romeo. 8-8 for Granter in the big blind. 10-10 for Patty Chuck. Holy fuck. Get a Romeo open. Patty could always 3-bet. Now they play call. Zeros could always 3-bet. What an interesting name choice. Is that like 10 zeros and then 136? Were they the 136th contestant of something? I don't know, but they stick in a 3-bet to 6 blinds here. And I doubt Romeo folds. I don't know what to do with the 10 and a 10 in Patty's shoes. Romeo rips it in for 44 blinds. Quick fold from the 10s, and ace-jack also hits the muck, so Romeo takes it down pretty with a big jam. What's going on here? Ace-8 for Patty from early-ish position. We'll probably let that go. King-9 for zeros. King-10 for RC. We'll get the King-9 open. It looks like they'll take it down pre-flop. Couple of 8 deuces and a 10 deuce for Granter. Nobody's suited. Nobody's nothing. We'll see a bunch of folds. Red Aaron lets it go. 7-5 for Romeo. They'll come in for the open under the gun. Jesh with a king and a queen. Very playable holding. 40 blinds. Basili's in the big. We might just want to play call to keep them in the pot. 14 blind stack. We do get a king-queen call. Basili quickly calls with jack-7 suited. We get a 10-9 3-flop. 1 club for Basili. Straight draw to the 8. Jesh with 2 overs. Straight draw to the jack. Romeo with 7 high. Bets 1.5 blinds. Backdoor flush draw, I suppose. And there's a little backdoor straight draw, but that would be dead. Oh, just kidding. The jack-7 hits the muck. So Romeo could have picked up straight draws, and instead we get an ace. Ace of diamonds completes the rainbow. Romeo bets small again, and Jesh will fold the straight draw. Nicely done by Romeo. Blinds go up. King jack for Patty under the gun. Ace jack for Narnach. Patty passes on the spot. No surprises there. Playing off the 30 blind stack. We'll get an ace-6 raise from RC. He's got a couple hearts. The ace jack will rip it all in. Ace-6 folds the small for Basili. So RC's less likely to make their holding. They're going to need some hearts here, dealer. Ooh, just a 5, a heart. There's a 5. A 6 would have got the job done, of course, but the 5 will pretty well lock up the board just to chop out to the couple of 6s left in the deck. What a bunch of fucking useless words. RC gets a bounty. Basili with a couple of kings. Jesh with the queen and the jack will come in for the open. Romeo with an ace-5. Oops. Yeah, 10 blind jam from Basili. If I'm Romeo, I find the fold. And then queen jack, I might find the call here. Go bounty hunting. It's only $400, but 8 blinds into 22 seems like a fair price. We do only have 13%, and we flop just nothing. Turn dead. Jesh will double up Basili, who is now out of last place. And Jesh gets an ace and a jack. Ace jack as well for Basili, and we see a whole lot of diamonds there. As Granter's got a pocket pair of 5s. Jesh will just rip it on in. If I'm Basili, I go bounty hunting. Hopefully we see some diamonds or some shit. 1 diamond. Another diamond. Oh, royal flush draw does not get there. No flush draw getting there. Both players make the nuts straight, and it holds up. I don't know if the board paired. Doesn't really fucking matter. It's ace jack versus ace jack. We got an ace queen ripping it all in. Ace jack for RC in the big blind. Could always find the call here. Oh, you don't love it, but like, oh, RC just snap folds like it don't matter. Nicely done. I would have found the call there. 9-9 for zeros. Queen 2 for Romeo. Don't you dare do it. No, they do just fold. Patty Chuck with the queen jack will open it on up. Zeros could call, could 3-bet. I don't think folding's going to happen here. We cover patty check for the bounty. Zeros lands on the call. Jesh in the big blind with a 10 and a 2. Should let that go, but they aren't afraid to see some flops, so we get an ace-5-2 or ace-5-4 flop, sorry. Patty checks over the 2 live cards with the queen and the jack. Backdoor straight draw. 9-9. Do we put in a small bet? No, we'll just go to the turn for free. 7 of hearts. Pretty boring shit here. 9-9. Does it ever put in a bet here just to protect itself? Patty's played this really softly, so this hand softly. So you would have expected it not to be an ace-x. It could always be like some sort of tens through king somehow. Anyways, we get a jack on the river, goes check, check, and Patty takes a small one. Ace-8 for Romeo looks like an open, and then zero's got ace-queen. Which I prefer to call, but I think most players prefer to 3-bet. Romeo does stick in the min-raise to 2 blinds. Oh, zeros. You're covered by Romeo now. So we do land on the call option. We got a couple shorties behind us. We're hoping to see a good flop with a shorty in the pot and maybe scoop a bounty. Instead, we get a jack-jack 2 flop, and the ace-queen could always find a way to get away from this holding at some point. As Romeo starts us off with a flop bet of 2 blinds, 8 on the turn. Are you serious, poker stars? I don't know how many more pennies get in the middle, but the 10 that's already hanging out there will slide Romeo's way, providing we don't get an ace or a queen on the river. 3.5 blinds is the bet. Lots of draws out there, and zero sticks in the raise to 10.5 blinds. Do they find a way to win this pot here? 7 more to call into what would be 31.5. Sizes up the river jam. Oh, I'm scared shitless for Romeo, and I can see ace queen here. King of hearts on the river. What the hell happens here? Romeo doesn't have much time to think about this, so if they face the heat on the river, they're going to be in a weird spot. They just rip it all in, and they'll take it on down. What the hell happened there on the river? Romeo donk jams all in with the best of it with ace-8, I think turning their hand into a bluff. And they win the hand. Vasily with the queen-4 suited will raise under the gun. Interesting. And they click 2.1 blinds, so it's not like it's a misclick. Red Aaron in the big with a king and a king. Very unlikely to call here. Whoa, just kidding. We're going to call and see a king 10-7 flop. Kings really prefer a raise pre as well with queens. Maybe not queens as much, but kings I think prefer a raise pre. But Vasily's been quiet. Flop goes check, check, queen of diamonds on the turn. Got 4 diamonds out there, some potential straights. Red Aaron says, what the hell? Why did I call pre-flop? Although if they raised pre, they would have just took it down. Anyways, a diamond is a chop pot. Red Aaron leads out for 1.8 blinds. Vasily with that pair of queens. I don't know if we're hanging in there or if we just let this go. Queen 4 does just find the fold. 8-8 for Patty. Ace king for zeros. Let's see a raise from Patty. Zeros will go for some sort of 3-bet here. Every once in a while you see ace king call. I think you would prefer that if there was like shorter stacks. Like Granter at 21 blinds, Jesh at 21, Vasily at 21. Those stacks are a little bit too big. If they were all hanging out at like 6 blinds, I think ace king might come in for a call, play 30 blinds deep in position. Instead, we get the 3-bet and a call, a king 9-5 flop, top pair, top kicker for zeros. Patty check with the backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw, although that's no good. Zeros bet small, 3 blinds into 12.5, and that should just get the job done. Paddy's thinking about a call though, so maybe it doesn't. Looks like it doesn't get the job done. Queen on the turn. So Zeros gets a little bit of value with that top pair, top kicker. Certainly another bet will just get the job done. It'll be small, I think. Jack 10 makes a straight, so we're going to see the river for free. 5 of diamonds. Paddy ain't bluffing with the 8s. Ace King does see a weird ass board. The flush misses, which is pretty important. Jack 10 makes a straight. Any 5 makes 3 of a kind in some boats. Ace King still good enough for a value bet for zeros. 8s will swiftly hit the muck. Ace King for red Aaron. Jack Jack for Jesh. RC with a 3 and a 3 will open it on up. If I'm Jesh, I just rip it in. We could always find a smaller 3 bet, but I don't think Jack Jack likes that. Ace King will rip it all in for about 36 blinds. And RC will get out of the way with the 3s. Pasili folding an ace. Just one less out for red Aaron. Looking for the bounty. $500 on Jesh's head. We get an interesting flop, and 4th club on the turn will lock up the board for Jesh. Ace 10 for Jesh. Ace 4 for red Aaron. I think that ace 4 will hit the muck now that we're in last place. 15, almost 16 blinds. Yeah, we just let it go. And then king 2 for Romeo might 3-bet here. And I think Romeo likes a big 3-bet pre-flop. So I'm thinking north of 9 blinds. No, it's only 7. Although, to be fair, comparatively speaking, that's a big 3-bet. Like, usually you see small 3-bets on the final table. Like less than 6 blinds. So a 7 blind size is comparatively big. Oh, what the hell does it matter? RC with a queen and a jack under the gun. Same suit will raise it on up. Romeo in position on the button with the king. And a 2 is thinking about something here. No, they just let it go. Paddy folds an ace in the small. 10-7 of clubs in the big blind for zeros. They find the call. We get a 10-5-2 flop. No clubs out there. RC with the backdoor straight draws. 2 over cards, which are both live. Bets 1.5 blinds. Zeros thinking things through here. Finds the call. 8 on the turn. So we're looking for a queen, a jack, or a 9. Get the queen of hearts on the river. So RC will take this pot down. The flush misses. Jack 9 made a straight, but I don't think RC's going to have a load of that. Zeros leads out for 2.8 blinds, just picking their price. Looking to get showdown for a cheap price. Under 3 blinds, and RC's thinking about a raise. They block Jack 9. They do find the raise. Nicely done by RC. They make it 9 bigs. I think the 10-7 will find a way to fold, but nice value bet on the river here by RC. 10-7 goes deep in the tank here. Thinking about a hero call for zeros. It's not too many more to call. It's about 6 into what would be about 26. Don't have to be right often. But man, you just feel like you're getting milked by a queen that just got there on the river. Jack 9 would probably bet the turn. Sets would bet the turn. Anyways, we move along. Couple of kings for Paddy. 10-2 for Romeo. I think we fold. But who knows with Romeo. We got 58 blinds, first place position. We don't need cards. We just need those big, or the big stack. 10-2 does come in for the open. From the cutoff position, King will 3-bet the 5 blinds. And Romeo folds, of course. 10-2-0. That's a wide open yo. Ace 10 for Romeo. That will come in for the open. Ace queen for zeros. Ace jack for RC in the small. Ace 7 for Jesh in the big. That's a lot of aces. Vasili's thinking about another wide open with 5-3 suited, but they'll let this one go. Romeo will open up the ace 10. Patty quickly folds. Ace queen for zeros. Could always 3-bet. We might just play call though, because we got a few shorties now. Red Aaron at 13 blinds. Vasily at 17. Granter at 17. Zero says, no, we'll just 3-bet here. If I'm RC, I'm going to think about a 4-bet. Think about making it like what? You don't have to go big. It'll just be 11 or something like this. RC says we'll make it large, in fact. 16 blinds to go. Romeo will fold the ace 10-0. And ace queen hits the muck as well. Very nice play by RC to get that pot. 4-bet from the small gets the job done. RC back in first place position. 9 and an 8 for zeros. They find the fold. RC with the 10 and a 6 from the button will open it on up. They're suited and booted. They should just get this through pre-flop. Whoa, just kidding. Jesh 3-bets from the small. 9-6-0. 9-6-0 3-bets from the small. We get a king 10-5 flop as RC calls the 3-bet. 10-6 suited. 6 blinds is the c-bet from Jesh. Just about sizes up a turn jam if they want to take it. 10 of diamonds. RC is not going to fold. Jesh has 0% here and they check it on over. I was really worried that they were just going to blast off. RC will rip it all in, and Jesh will swiftly fold after losing about 12 blinds. Maybe a little bit less. King Jack for Romeo. That's a very playable holding. Romeo needs to look at their screen. They do find the open. RC with a king and a 6 of the same suit could always 3-bet. Make it about 6 blinds. They say 6.6 is the size. Does Romeo 4-bet or call? Do we ever just fold? No, 4-bet all in is the play, and Romeo will take it on down. Nicely done. Romeo's still in second place, but they're barely behind RC. King 7 for Vasily in the big. Sees a 5-6 open under the gun from Romeo. The disrespect continues. King 7 will call. Flop top pair. Open-ended straight draw for Romeo. 7 or a 2. Backdoor clubs as well. Vasily has a 7, so that 7 would be a super dirty card as they would make 2 pairs. And Romeo would make the nut straight, of course. Check raise comes in, and it's very small as well. 3.8 in total. 1.5 was the bet from Romeo, so it's like 2 more to call. Do we ever just rip it in? Yeah, we do. Romeo rips it in. Quick call with about 30%. A club will do. Just a 10 of spades on the river. Vasily gets a full double. 34 blinds slide their way. Very nicely done. King 10 for zeros hits the muck. RC with an ace and a 2 will open it on up. Queen 7 for Romeo in the big. And do we just let this go? Romeo goes in the tinker, finds the call. King 6-3 flop goes check, bet, fold, and we're moving along. Unless Romeo sticks in a check raise for some reason. It'd be so disrespectful. Romeo's thinking about something here. No, they let it go. But of course. Ace 9 for zeros under the gun will fold. Good timing as Vasily's got a couple of kings. Doesn't look like too much else is going on here. Romeo with a 9 and an 8 can always play that. I don't think we call from the small. And I don't think we 3-bet. Just king for Basili. Only a $400 bounty on the line. Romeo does stick in a 3-bet, and I want to see a Basili call. Let's take this one post-flop. All in is the play from Basili, and I'll take it down. $10-10 for Patty. King Jack for Romeo, who will probably get the chance to raise the button here. Open on up the pot. 10-10 will probably rip it all in. We're just kidding. Romeo rips it in for about 20 blinds effective. 10's call for the flip. King or a jack will get the job done. No king or jack, so Romeo's down to 15 blinds. Just like that, Romeo's one of the shorties. Red Aaron has an ace and a jack of the same suit. They'll probably play that one all in and take it down pre-flop. Although Romeo does cover him with a king 8 suited, I guess could always go bounty hunting. King 6 for Basili. I don't think they're going to play. $900 bounty on the line. Basili does land on the call option with king 6 suited. And they flop the heart draw. Top pair, top kicker for Red Aaron. Sweating a king or a heart. There's the king of diamonds on the river. Good shit for Basili as they get the bounty. Most importantly, about 24 blinds. That puts them in second place position. RC with a king and a jack. We got a couple of 3s for Basili, who's got the newfound stack. Might come in for the open here. They started off with a limp. King Jack comes along. Queen Jack for Jesh in the big will play check. Queen 8 for flop. Basili with that under pair. Thinking about a little Betsky here. They make it about 2.7 blinds. 3 in a row for RC. We'll just let it go. Jesh with the top pair will rip it all in for 23 blinds and take it down with a top pair and a fair kicker. Aces for Jesh. Doesn't look like there's much going on here. RC on the button with a 9 and a 5. Basili with 8-6-0 under the gun. Goes in the tank here. Has about 160 seconds to kill. No, they're just disconnected. They come back, and they quickly find the fold with the 8-6-0. Patty with a queen and a 10 will open it up. Now it's interesting to see what we do with the aces from the small blind here off a 25 blind stack. We go for the small 3 bets already, 5 blinds. Patty will let go of the queen 10-0, and the aces 3 bet gets through pre. Ace queen for RC. Ace 8 for Granter. I don't think is going to rip from the small blind, but always could. I don't think we're going to call the small bet either. Granter's thinking about it. They do swiftly rip it all in with about 25% here. They're going to need some spades for an 8. Jack will chop the pot. They got some straight outs, Jack, on the river, so the pot is chopped out. And Granter survives. Jesh with a 5 and a 5 is thinking about an open size. They might just stick it all in here, playing about 30 blinds deep with Basili in the small. What's up? Oh yeah. Jesh goes for a small raise to 5 blinds. Romeo in the big with a 3 and a 5. And the 3-5 just goes in the muck. No surprises there. King for zeros under the gun. Ace 10 for Basili from the button. We get the 2.2x open under the gun. Jesh will certainly let go of this jack and the 7 here. 8-7 suited for Romeo. If Basili calls, I suppose Romeo could always call, and then Patty might call with the 9 and the 2 of the same suit. Instead, we get a Basili 3 bet to just under 9 blinds, and we'll certainly just get in pre-flop with the king and the ace and the 10. Kings rip it all in. Ace 10 quickly calls and flops a pair of 10s. Gonna need a little bit more help. Ace on the river, that will do. 37 blinds and about a $700 bounty slides Basili's way. They're in first place now, so that's interesting to note. After getting a couple... Wait, did they get a couple bounties? I think so. Queen and a 10 of the same suit. Basili will raise it on up. Bunch of bullshit for the remaining players. We'll find the folds. Romeo with the 4 and a 2 will think it on through first. Do 9 and a 9. Basili has another opening hand and some more bullshit for everybody. Would you look at Jess sitting there with 30 blinds? Did a good job of hanging on out. In fourth place. Started this bad boy off. Not in the best position. Here they are now. Ace Jack. Basili with an ace and a 7, and the big stack will let that go. Romeo might rip in ducks. Duck, all in for 11 blinds. Romeo says no, we'll look for a better spot. 6-7 for RC, will open it on up. Ace Jack will rip it in for 30 blinds and take it down for Jesh. Ace Queen for RC, looks like another open this time from the cutoff, and a bunch of bullshit for the remaining players, so it should just get through pre. 10-4, Romeo does not have the chips to play the 10-4-0. Ace Queen will min raise. 5-2 for Basili in the big blind. Probably won't 3-bet, and Jesh will let go of the Jack and the 8, of course. 5-2 does call pre 8-6-5 flop. Basili leads 2.6 blinds, half pot. What an interesting little happening. This is backdoor flush draw sorry for RC. 2 live over cards. They find the call, king on the turn. Basili slows down. Ace Queen checks back the king turn with a bunch of flush draws out there, a bunch of straight draws out there. 10 on the river completes nothing. 9-7 was already ace straight on the flop. Basili checks the pair of 5s. RC checks back the ace and the queen, and Basili will take down a nice little pot there. And a big cooler here. RC with the king jack will open it on up. Queen for Granter will rip it all in for 10.5 blinds. Basili in the small with the ace king O. Granter will eventually stick it in. And then Basili's in an interesting spot here. I don't know what to do. Basili finds the call. 10.5 blinds. From the small RC, closing the action pre-flop. It's about 8 to call into 32. Does find it. We get an 8-7-3 flop. So far the queens are holding up and they got about 75%. Sweating aces, jacks. Oh, nothing now. 100% for Granter. No side pot. We get a king on the river, so we could always see a little side pot now. Basili will probably bet, thinking they have the best of it with the king and the ace. 11 blinds is the size, and then RC says, well, fuck me, man. Why am I going to call here just for this bounty that I don't even know if I'm going to get? What's even going to bluff in this situation? I don't fucking know. But RC finds the call, just as we all would. Basili shows him the ace and the king. Nice little play there by Basili to take down a nice little side pot. Steals 11 blinds from RC as Granter survives with the queens. Jack 4 for Basili will raise the button. Ace 6 for Romeo in the small blind with that $1,100 bounty on their head. Might stick it on in. They do go for a small 3-bet to 5 blinds just in case Patty rips. And Basili calls. We get a 6-5-3 flop. So open ender for Basili, looking for a deuce or what about a 7 or jack? Those are the cards we're looking for. Jack on the turn. No more help for Romeo. Bye. Big bounty slides Basili's way. Ace 10 for Basili. Jesh with an ace and a 7 in the big blind. We could always see a little action here. No, we don't. Ace 7 hits the muck. Pretty interesting. 8-7 for Vasily. Big stack 87 blinds will come on in for the open. No, we won't. 5-handed, we just let it go. 3-4 or 6-5, a couple of bullshit holdings, but we're at least connected, so we might see a flop here. No, just preserve chips and folds. Queen 9 for Patty. I'll just let that go. Ace 5 for Granter. Vasily with a 10 and an 8 blind on blind action. We get a limp pot. Vasily's might raise it up here. They say no, 10-8's very playable. We'll get a king 8 2 flop, 1 spade, backdoor straight draw for Granter, an overcard to the 8, of course. They bet 1 blind. Vasily very likely to find the call here. Board's super dry. Hard to come up with bluffs on this king 8 2 flop. Deuce on the turn here. Granter slows down with the ace high, checks it on over. Vasily puts in a 1 blind bet, and that might just take it down. Although, to be fair, there's plenty of just 2 card holdings, not draws really. Diamonds. Only diamonds. Anyways, the ace high hits the muck, and we got an ace 10 for RC, an ace 10 for Jesh. Vasily in the small with 9-7 suited could always play the hand as well. Jesh calls pre from the cutoff. Heads up 7-6-4 flop. RC bets small. We get a raise from Jesh on the 7-6-4 flop with ace 10. And ace 10 hits the muck for RC. Nicely done by Jesh. A jack and a 9 for Patty in the small blind. King 5 for RC in the big. Probably see some blind on blind action. Queen 5 for Vasily on the button. Could always raise, but they say no, we'll just fold. Jack 9, we'll rip it all in pre-flop. And the king high hits the muck. Ace 10 for Granter will open it on up. Vasily with ace queen will probably 3-bet here. I don't think we have to go large, like 6 blinds. I wonder if we even go a little bit less. Vasily says, let's actually play call Jesh in the big with an 8 and a 3. Interesting play by Vasily to just play call pre-flop. We get a 4-3-2 flop. Goes check. Does Vasily just check here as well? No, they bet about 2 blinds, a little bit less, 1.6. Granter with a straight draw to the 5. 2 live card, not live cards. 1 live card with the 10. Ace 10 just hits the muck facing the small bet on that silly little flop. Very interesting. Granter escapes a little bit of danger there. 10-5 for Jesh. 9-5 for Granter. Blind on blind. We get a min raise from Jesh from the small. A very disrespectful play here. The disrespectful raise will get through pre-flop. Jack 9 for Patty. Suited and booted will come in for the open under the gun. Vasily with an ace and a 3 in the big blind. Could always 3-bet. Might just land on the call. Every once in a while they just fold pre. If you think Patty's a little bit too tight. Vasily plays call. We get a king 8-6 flop. Flop goes check bet. I don't know. What do we do with ace 3, 1 live over card? We can't know that it's live. Vasily plays check raise and jack 9 hits the muck. Riddle me that one. Nice little play there by Vasily, even though they had the best of it with the ace high. Now we got an ace 7 for Vasily in the small blind. Jack for Patty in the big. We'll get a raise and a jam and a fold. What do we do here facing? Oh, we got a small 3-bet to 7 blinds from Patty. Now Vasily might rip it in. No, a nice fold by Pasili with the ace and the 7. Patty gets a small little pot there, just about 4 blinds, as we got an ace and an ace for Jesh. With 31 bigs, they'll go for the min raise. 10-6 for Pasili. They'll just let that go. RC in the big blind with a 3 and a 2 of the same suit will call, make a or pick up a straight draw to the 4. Sorry. Top set for Jesh. We'll bet 1 blind. RC finds the call, makes a pair of ducks on the turn. That's obviously no good. They need that 4. 2 more blinds is the bet by Jesh, as there's a bunch of draws out there. 3 on the river. Bad news for RC. Any 4 makes a straight. RC lead jams all in. Quick call by the top set, and Jesh will take a nice big pot. 34 blinds slide their way plus a bounty. We lose RC, who played a damn good game. Unfortunate run out there on the end, and an interesting jam, I suppose. Pot size bet, they just lead jam with the 2 pairs. And we get a 7 and a 7 for Patty. Ace deuce for Pasili, who opens it up. Patty will get it through pre with those 7s. King Jack will get a walk for Pasili. Jack 8 for Patty in the big blind. Jack 9 for Pasili in the small. We'll get a Jesh open with a king and an 8. All in is the play by Pasili for about 47 blinds. They just rip Jack 9 and take it down pre-flop. Good for them. King 5 for Pasili. We got a 5 and a 5 for Patty. King 5 goes for the open. Patty in the small for about 30 blinds. Could always rip it in. They do stick in 16 blinds. Jesh will fold the 7 and the 6. Queen Jack for Pasili. We'll open it on up. Patty with an ace and a 10 will play call. Jesh with an ace and a 10 will play call. Granter in the big with a king and a 5 of the same suit will also play call. We get a Jack 2-2 flop. 1 diamond out there, so the backdoor draw for Granter. King on the turn. That gives Granter the best of it with top pair. Nobody's got a club, so that's not interesting, although there's 3 of them out there. Any queen would give Patty, Chuck, and Jesh a straight. An ace would have worked, but instead we just get a 7 of spades. Granter with the pair of kings will take the pot, providing there's no bets and no folding. I don't think Patty with the ace 10 of hearts here will put in a bet, but they do land on it. 5.9 blinds, and Granter might fold? I don't know. I don't think so. I think we just gotta call top pair here. Right. Think so. Granter goes in the tank. They got about 60 seconds. I think this one through. They take about 2 seconds beyond the initial time bank, and they find the call. And then Pasili thinks, do I ever raise as a bluff here? No, they don't. They just fold, and Granter takes a little pot. Ace 7 of clubs will raise for Patty under the gun, 4-handed. So from the cutoff, Pasili with the king jack of the same suit. We'll stick it all in and take it down pre. King 8 for Patty in the big blind. 9-5 for Pasili in the small. We'll get a jam and a fold, and we're moving along. 8 deuce for Pasili. Thinking about playing it here. No, they'll just let her go. Patty limps in the jack and the 6. 8-9 checks it on back. We get a jack 7-3 flop. The flop goes check, bet, call, jack on the turn. Jesh with the straight draw to the 10. They need to find it, and they don't. They get a 4 of diamonds on the river. 3 of a kind for Patty. We'll take this pot down, and they won't be folding. They check it on over for a 3rd time, giving Jesh some room to bluff. They bet pot. And if I'm Patty, I rip it all in for value. There we go. There's the all-in for 19 blinds, and 9 high will hit the muck. Eventually. Can you imagine if you found the call there? That'd be absolute bonkers. Ace Queen for Patty, 10-8 for Pasili. Pasili thinks about an open here from the cutoff. They find it. 2.1 blinds is the size. Ace Queen will 3-bet to 5.5 blinds. Granter swiftly lets go to Ace 4 suited. Pasili lets go of the 10 and the 8, and we're moving along. Ace 5 will fold under the gun for Patty. Ace Deuce for Jesh will open the button. 8-7 for Pasili in the big. They play call. We get a 10-8 2 flop. Both players with a pair. Backdoor flush draws for both players. I think a backdoor straight draw for Pasili as well. They find the call with the pair of 8s. We get the 4 of clubs on the turn, so all that backdoor equity just went out the window. Turn goes check, check, queen on the river, and Pasili will take this pot down as I don't think either player wants to bet. Just checks down and Pasili wins 11 blinds. Blinds go up. Looks like we got a break to skip through again. Ten and 8 for Jesh will open it on up. Granter with an ace and a 10. I think we 3-bet here. We could always play call. 3-bet the 5 blinds comes in. 10-8 over Jesh. Surely we'll let that go. The nice wide cutoff open. We'll get punished. And Granter out of last place position. Now in second place. Jack 9 suited will raise from the cutoff. 10-9 for Pasili. We'll rip it all in and take it down pretty. Right? I think so. No way Granter calls here. 4-4 for Pasili. Ace Jack for Granter in the big blind. We could see this one get all in pre-flop. 4s will limp. Josh should fold the 9-3-0. They do. Ace Jack I think goes for a raise. 12.5 blinds is the size. About half of Granter's stack. And I think Pasili rips it all in for the bounty. Nope, they just find the fold. Ace 9 for Jesh. 19.5 blinds will come on in for the open. Interesting to see what size they go with. They elect to rip and take it down pre. King Queen for Patty Chuck in the big blind. Pasili with a king and a 4. They limp it on in. Patty will raise it on up. 3.5 blinds is the sizing. Pasili just finds the fold with the king 4-0. Ace Queen for Patty. 7-5 for Pasili on the button. Will raise it on up, I think. And Patty will 3-bet and take it down. Otherwise, does Patty... No, we raise facing Jesh. Blind on blind. 7-5 does find the open. Now Ace Queen will stick in a 3-bet of some sort. And take it down pre-flop. 6.5 blinds is the size out of position. And Pasili of course folds 7-5. Queen and a queen. That's interesting. King 9 suited for Granter in the big blind. We get another 7-5-0 open for Pasili. Queen Jack for Jesh in the small. Queen's call, pretty interesting. King 9 calls. Ace 4-4 flop. Pasili puts in a 2 blind bet. Queen's call. 7 on the turn will slow Pasili down. Or do we just continue to fire? No, we just check, of course. Could have continued to fire, but no. Doesn't make as much sense. When you have a little bit of showdown value, we get a 5 on the river. We do have a bluffing hand as we block boats. So like an all-in sizing, maybe? Other than the 2x overbet pot, I don't know what we bet here. Basili just checks, looking to show down the pair of sevens, and they see they got the loser. King Queen Patty will open it on up. Ace 10 for Basili in the big blind. They rip it all in for about 34 blinds. Patty lets go the King Queen reluctantly. Ace Deuce for Jesh. King Queen for Grant, or 9-5 suited for Basili. We could see a raise, a call. No, we just get a jam and a bunch of folds. Ace 9 for Granter, 8-8 for Basili. We'll see a raise and a jam. And I think Granter lets go the Ace 9. Non all in 3-bet is the size. 5 blinds. Ace 3 for Jesh. We'll let that go. And Ace 9 hits the muck for Granter. Ace King for Basili. King Queen for Granter in the big blind. 6-5 for Patty in the on the button here. They'll just let that one go. King Queen for Granter could always rip it in, and they do. Basili will swiftly call for the bounty here. It's only $300, but they do call. 40 blind pot. Granter needs out. He's dead. Bad turn. Ace will lock up the board for Basili, and they get another bounty. Oh boy. So we got Jesh with a jack and a 6. They'll let that go. Queen 3 versus Queen 3. This is fun shit. Basili raises to 3 blinds. Patty with the suited queen will just fold that pre-flop. Ace 6 for Basili. Ace Queen for Patty. Basili raises to 2 blinds. Patty rips her all in with the Ace Queen. Basili, if calls, looking just for a 6. No, they find another nice fold. 8-10 suited for Patty. We'll limp it on in. Jack 4 for Basili. Jack 4 will 3-bet. No, sorry, 2-bet pre-flop as it's a limp pot. Patty calls. We get a Queen 3-3 flop. 9 blinds in the middle. Nobody's got a pair. Nobody's got a direct flush draw, of course, is the board's rainbow. Basili bets small, and Patty gets out of there with a 10 high. Queen 2 for Basili. 9-7 for Patty. Get a raise to 3 blinds. Patty quickly folds the 9-7. King Queen for Basili will raise it on up, and Jesh in the big with a 10 and a 7 I think just folds. Could always play call though, being in last place. No, not this time. Ace Queen for Patty will raise and take it down pre. Jesh with a king and a 3 of the same suit will likely just fold. 8-2 for Basili in the big, I suppose could always 3-bet again. Just with, or sorry, last time it was a 2-bet. It was a limp pot. I keep forgetting. Anyways, it really does not matter. Basili just folds the bullshit holding. 5-7. Basili likes this one. They limp it on in. Patty with a 4 and a 2 in the big blind. Checks it on back. Queen 10 flop. Basili bets a blind. Patty quickly folds, and we're moving along. Queen 3 for Basili. King 10 for Patty. Basili folds the button. Patty will raise all in from the small. 9-4 for Jesh. We'll just let her go. Jack 10 for Patty. Limping in the button. Basili with the queen and a 2. Gonna raise it on up, and Patty will call. So Basili checks it on back instead. Flops 2 pairs. Patty with a jack. Makes middle pair. Picks up a straight draw on the 9 turn here. Basili checks once again. Patty bets a blind. Now I think we raise Queen 2. 6.25 blinds is the sizing. Patty, not too big of a fan of the size, says okay, I guess I call. 6 on the river. 22 blinds behind, 15 in the middle. All in is the sizing. Pasili says, yeah, if you want to call, buddy, fuck you. 22 blinds in total. $450 bounty on the line. Patty does find the nice fold here. 2 pairs will take down a nice pot. 15 blinds slides Pasili's way. Not much doing here, but the 5-7-0 will rip it all in pre-flop for Jesh. What? Like, Jesh was getting a little out of line, but this is bizarre. 14 bigs, 5-7-0. We just rip it in. What in the world? King 4 for Pasili. We'll raise to 2 blinds. 5-7-0 rips it on in from the bottom. 3-handed Ace 2 will rip it all in. This one makes a little bit more sense with about 60%. I think it just gets through pre, and Pasili does just find the fold of the King 4-0. King 6 might rip it in. That it does. Pasili's got the slightly better holding, but still finds the fold. 8-2 should certainly fold. King Jack might rip it in, and then Patty calls with the Ace and the 8. Now we get a limp. Jam, call. Any kings or jack dealer. Diamonds won't work. A 10 would work. A 10 on the river gets the job done. So just like that, we lose Patty in 3rd place. Gets about $4,400. No, wait, they got more bounties there. So about $5K for their efforts. Jack 6 will limp it on in. Ace Queen will raise it on up. All in is the size, and Pasili will certainly just let go of the Jack and the 6-0. About 15 more blinds to call. They do just get out of the way. 9-8 for Jesh. They rip it all in. Queen 4 for Pasili. We'll just let it go. Ace King goes for a raise. Probably not an all in. Why are we just ripping it in here? Don't we want to go for a small raise? Face the jam from Jesh. In the end, Ace King rips and takes it down pre. Jesh with a king and a jack will raise it all in. And then take it down pre as Pasili has a jack and a 4. Certainly we just let this go. King 6 versus Queen 7. Do we just jam, or are we going to do something small? Limp pot, just checks it back. Ace 7 2 flop. So Pasili's got a pair, backdoor flush draw, and a live overcard with the king for Jesh. Overcard to the 7, that is, not to the ace, of course. Anyways, lots of words for not much action. Flop goes check, bet, fold, and we're moving along. We got a couple of 5s ripping it in. 9-7 suited. And it's the fold, excuse me. Ace 3 versus 5-6. We get a limp ban. Oh no, just an all in. Pasili will take it down pre. King 6. Jesh might rip it in. They do. 17.5 blinds. Pasili with a Queen 8 suited. We'll have to find the fold. King 3 for Pasili. 10-5 for Jesh. We get a raise to 2 blinds, and Jesh will let go of the 10-5-0. Jack 10 for Jesh. King 9 for Pasili. We get a jam and a call. Any jack or 10. Backdoor clubs would work as well for Jesh. Instead, we get a 4 and a 6. Jesh is Gonzo Alonzo, and that is the end of the show. Pasili gets the job done. So if you made it all the way through, thanks for checking this bullshit out. Hopefully we'll see you in another video. Till then, adios amigos.